Ambassador, move on from election interference. Is Carney building a China alliance? In a recent appearance on CBC's Power and Politics, Chinese ambassador to Canada Wang urged Canadians to move on from past diplomatic tensions, including allegations of election interference and the detention of 2 Canadian citizens. This statement comes amid the early days of Prime Minister Mark Carney's administration, raising questions about whether his leadership will foster a new alliance with China. Ambassador Wang expressed gratitude towards Canadian media and citizens for their support of the China-Canada relationship, signaling a desire to reset bilateral ties. However, his remarks have been met with skepticism, given the history of strained relations between the two nations. Prime Minister Carney's recent election victory has introduced a new dynamic to Canada's foreign policy. Carney, known for his pro-trade stance, may seek to balance relations between major global powers. While he has acknowledged China's role in foreign interference as a significant threat, he also recognizes the importance of economic engagement with Beijing. Analysts suggest that Carney's administration might adopt a more pragmatic approach towards China, especially as tensions with the United States persist. This shift could lead to a reevaluation of Canada's commercial relations with China, potentially easing trade barriers and fostering cooperation in various sectors, despite ongoing concerns about human rights and security threats posed by the Chinese government. The notion of moving beyond past grievances is not just a diplomatic nicety. It reflects a broader strategy that Carney may employ to enhance Canada's economic position. As China continues to be a major player in the global economy, fostering a constructive relationship could yield significant benefits for Canada, particularly in sectors like technology, clean energy, and natural resources. Nevertheless, this approach will require careful navigation of domestic sentiments, as many Canadians remain wary of China's influence and actions on the global stage. Domestically, Carney's government faces challenges in solidifying its mandate. Judicial recounts are underway in several closely contested ridings, including Terra Nova and Milton East, where the Liberals hold narrow leads, and Windsor, where the Conservatives maintain a slight edge. These recounts could alter the balance of power in Parliament, reflecting the ongoing volatility in Canadian politics. The precarious position of the Liberal government may force Carney to be more cautious in his foreign policy decisions, particularly concerning China, as any misstep could jeopardize his administration's stability. Moreover, a troubling trend has emerged in Quebec, where a significant percentage of ballots were rejected, raising questions about voter literacy and engagement. This issue highlights broader concerns about the health of Canadian democracy and the importance of ensuring that all citizens are equipped to participate fully in the electoral process. As Carney's administration seeks to address these domestic issues, it must also consider how international relationships, particularly with China, are perceived by Canadian voters. Economic concerns are also at the forefront of Carney's agenda. General Motors has announced plans to lay off approximately 700 production workers at its Oshawa, Ontario assembly plant, with another 1,500 supply chain jobs potentially affected. The layoffs are attributed to weak demand for electric vehicles and are expected to exacerbate public discontent. Critics argue that the government has been slow to respond to these looming job losses, which could further strain public confidence in the administration's economic policies. In this context, Carney's approach to China becomes even more critical. By strengthening trade ties with China, his government may be able to mitigate some of the negative impacts of job losses in other sectors. However, this strategy must be balanced against the backdrop of rising public concern over job security and economic stability. If Canadians feel that their jobs are at risk due to foreign competition or interference, they may oppose Carney's efforts to deepen ties with China. Public safety and immigration policies have come under scrutiny following a recent increase in violent crime. A tragic stabbing incident in Mississauga, where a woman was critically injured in an unprovoked attack, has sparked debate over the Liberal government's immigration policies. Critics contend that the current approach lacks adequate screening measures, allowing potentially dangerous individuals to enter Canada. This issue has become a focal point for opposition leaders who argue for a reevaluation of immigration practices to ensure public safety. As discussions around immigration intensify, Carney may find himself in a difficult position. On one hand, he must address public concerns about safety and security. On the other, he needs to foster an open and welcoming environment for newcomers, which is a cornerstone of Canadian identity. Balancing these competing interests will be essential for maintaining public support as his administration navigates these complex issues. In Alberta, Premier Danielle Smith has been vocal about the province's frustrations with federal governance, discussing the possibility of an independence referendum. Polls indicate that a significant portion of Canadians view the Alberta separation movement seriously, reflecting a growing discontent with perceived neglect from the federal government. Smith's position has gained traction, and her calls for greater provincial autonomy resonate with many Albertans who feel sidelined by the Liberal administration. This provincial discontent adds another layer of complexity to Carney's leadership. As he seeks to strengthen ties with China, he must also contend with the regional disparities and sentiments that exist within Canada. Addressing the grievances of provinces like Alberta will be crucial in maintaining national unity and ensuring that his government does not alienate any significant voter base. In a symbolic move to affirm Canadian sovereignty, King Charles is set to visit Canada on May 27, 2025, following an invitation by Prime Minister Carney. The monarch's rare decision to open the new parliamentary session, something not done since 1857, serves as a response to suggestions that Canada could become the 51st U.S. state. Carney, a former governor of the Bank of England, formed a close relationship with King Charles during his tenure and is leveraging those ties diplomatically. The visit is seen as an unusual but strategic move, accentuated by the ongoing discussions around Canadian identity and sovereignty. As discussions about the future of Canada-China relations unfold, the Chinese ambassador's insistence on moving past previous tensions raises critical questions about the direction of Carney's foreign policy. While there is potential for increased economic collaboration, concerns about China's human rights record and its influence in Canadian politics remain prominent. Many Canadians are wary of any perceived alignment with a government that has been accused of undermining democratic processes and engaging in aggressive foreign interference. In conclusion, as Mark Carney embarks on his tenure as Prime Minister, the balancing act between fostering a cooperative relationship with China and addressing domestic concerns will be pivotal. The political landscape is fraught with challenges, and how Carney navigates these issues will significantly impact Canada's future both at home and abroad. His administration's ability to adapt to the evolving geopolitical landscape while remaining responsive to domestic pressures will ultimately determine the success of his leadership. The next few months will be crucial in shaping the trajectory of Canada's foreign and domestic policies, as Carney seeks to carve out a path that reflects both the aspirations of Canadians and the realities of an interconnected world.